Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Of course, this is Robert Anthony with Living with Rob. Of course, this is Joel Anthony, and today's a very special day because we have visitors. We have Lynwood and DeNae. They are staying with us at a Boondockers Welcome, where we're allowed to stay. Joel, you want to show them the shirt?
Yes.
This is from some folks that called the Wing and a Prayer. The airport's over there. The church is right here. So we're basically on the church overflow parking lot that they now use for Boondockers Welcome. So they have been an incredibly gracious host. And what we wanted to do in today's video is we wanted to take a little bit of time and talk with Lynwood and DeNae because, well, they're doing what we're doing. And I think they have a lot to offer to talk about their experience and what they're doing out on the road. So before we get into that,
Yes.
please subscribe. We'd love to have it if you were a subscriber. Love it if you like the video. And remember, we now have the Living with Rob merchandise in the merchandise shelf below. You could purchase t-shirts, hats, stickers, cups, and you'll help fund our adventures. And that would be great as far as we're concerned. So, Lynwood, why don't you tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing this, what got you started, and why you wanted to do this?
Well, I should have let my wife do that, but since
you want me to ask her?
No.
All right,
No,
DeNae, we'll let you. Lynn was just gonna sit here and watch.
No. I'm gonna add a little something. But I would say we've done it collectively about 8 months. But this is full time now. We leased out our house, and so we've been out a month now.
Okay.
So
officially,
yes,
full time,
a
month.
A month.
Yes. Okay. DeNae, tell us a little bit about you and your coming on board with this, wanting to do this.
I've always had a dream of doing it, the little image of driving an RV across the country with my family and all of that. But I didn't know the reality of it. That ideal in your head is a lot different from experiencing it in reality. So when the reality part started to happen and he was really talking about it seriously, doing it full time, at the time we had, 2 younger kids and stuff, I was like, wait a minute, this is too much. I don't know how, just navigating the details of how are we going to do this was really difficult at first. I'm not going to lie. It was trying to choose which rig, like how are we going to travel? Are we going to do a big A class? Are we going to do something small? Are we going to do just all of that?
I was in love with the Super C.
He wanted to do a Super C.
My dad was a trucker. I like being on the road. Not that I like driving a truck or anything like that. I just like being out on the road. I like meeting people and stuff like that. So, being formerly military, they tapped into something that I like to do. And I like being somewhere, but, now I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But this time, it'll be for good stuff instead of,
Right.
because of some conflict or whatever.
Yeah.
So now just to get out and enjoy people in their own element and stuff like that, it's just something I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. A desire in my heart, I should say.
Is to meet the people.
Is to be out there with people, because especially in the current environment, our world you'd be terrified of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's some good people like yourself out there.
Yeah.
And that's what we found out when we went out, 8 months, doing this and doing that. It's just beautiful people out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we can talk to people in their element, we share a lot more. And my saying I like to say is like, God told me it's easier for me to love people one-on-one than it is through the organization. Not that the church is a bad thing, not that a job is a bad thing, not any of that stuff is a bad thing. But my work is to get out and be with the people.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And let them be able to express as well as share.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we've gone through, because it's not easy blending a family.
Right.
Yeah,
so, because this is your second marriage.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you're doing this. You've been married. You told us 10 years today.
10 years
10
today.
years
Happy
today.
anniversary.
And
Happy
his
birthday.
Yeah.
So this is a special day.
Anniversary.
Yeah, anniversary.
Yeah,
that's great. That's really, really great. So it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
That is what we're finding. For me, being of German descent, I'm good with not being around people.
I get it.
But I love speaking to large groups. The one-on-one has always been more of a challenge for me. But one of the things that I've noticed about being out here when I did it with the van, the minivan, and did some of the other traveling that I did, is being from Michigan, I always liken it to how in Michigan the lake season was between June and the 1st of September, right around Labor Day. And everybody became different people once they were out on the lake with their boats. You go out and you'd go to an island and there'd be 35 boats at that island hanging out. You hadn't seen all those people ever your entire life one time, and you guys are suddenly best friends. You're walking around talking about the boats, talking about the motors. And when you go out and start doing this and you get out with folks like you guys, you know, running into each other at this Boondockers Welcome or out in the desert boondocking or in the mountains, there is such a common bond.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's just everybody is helping everybody.
Yes.
They look forward to wanting to get together. I have friends that I made 2 years ago that I'm still in contact with from being on the road. Has that been your experience?
Absolutely.
That has definitely been our experience. And that has actually been a thing that started the shift. It triggered the shift, was
For
starting
you.
to get into community, getting to know other people who were doing this and living this life. Because like for me, my perspective was, oh, this is something you do on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know, just coming up. But when I learned that, wait a minute, there's a whole community of people like living this life, doing it full time on the road, like or extended times on the road, and then just starting to build relationships with people who are doing it, asking them questions. How are y'all doing this? Tell me what it's really like. How do y'all poop?
Where do you store that?
Like where does it go? How do you clean? Like all of the real questions, but like you said, people are very, very generous with sharing.
They are.
And and sharing
really
the reality
is,
of it.
What's going on. Like us getting the flat tire coming up here.
Absolutely.
That's part of the deal.
Right.
You know, when I met a guy, Camping Randy is his name, and one of the things that he said when I was talking about, there's a bunch of Facebook groups for the camper that we have, and everybody seems to gripe and complain a lot. And he said, yeah, you know, the problem is with everybody like that is they don't realize they're towing their home behind them all the time. And so instead of looking at it like, oh, I can't believe this broke, the manufacturers do the best that they can to build a quality product, and you have to go out and you have to learn how to take care of it. And that there is a maintenance that comes with that. And if you're not prepared to deal with that, you're not prepared to live on the road.
And a learning curve.
And a learning curve, right? A learning curve. You're making mistakes. You're doing silly things like towing, taking off with your stabilizer jack still down, or you know, something like that, right? So we're
Or making donations, I call them.
yeah, right.
You leave something behind for the next person. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness, what did I donate this time? Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And just expect to be inconvenienced sometimes. I think that's what I'm learning is just there's going to be inconveniences, and you just have to have a system in this whole process.
Right.
You
There
know?
has to be a system.
It has to be a system.
Yep.
We were talking last night.
Everything has its place.
Within the camper, everything has its place. You know, clean as you go. That's
Yeah,
what I've
always
been-
clean as you
yeah,
go.
'cause you can get pretty dirty in that
quickly.
small space
Yeah.
and cluttered.
Yeah. So, DeNae, I want to really address you, you know, because I've got Joelle, and Joelle is living with Rob, and she has to deal with that. And
Yes.
but as we talked about this morning when we were working out, I have so many friends my age, in the 50 to 60 age range, that are men that want to do this, and their wives are just like, I don't know. Can you speak to that a little bit about how you've gotten on board, or how that's been something where it's like, you know, I'm embracing this and I really am enjoying this? I mean, you're fit, you're in shape, so you're going to hike and you're going to enjoy that lifestyle. Some people might not be so much on board with that, but what have you?
I think first and foremost is honest communication.
Absolutely.
Really being honest about what's most important to you. Like, what are your non-negotiables? Like, I love to cook, so I'm like, okay, we have to have some cooking space. Like, there's things that I want to be able to bring, whether it's an environment or a feeling or whatever, that I want to bring from our home base lifestyle,
Sticks and bricks.
our sticks and bricks, into our on the move, on the go lifestyle. And you personally having to do some inner work and be like, okay, what really is most important to me? And then being able to communicate that to him. Like, I could be adjustable and flexible when it comes to how we navigate bathroom stuff and different things like that.
That's okay.
But yeah, that was important. And then understanding our roles. Like, okay, what stuff is he going to be doing? What is he mostly going to be responsible for? And then where do I fit in this? So it took a minute to really figure out, like,
Who's doing what?
Yeah, who's doing what? Yeah. Where do I fit in it with him? Not feeling like I'm in his way, because he knew a lot more. Well, it seemed like he knew a lot more about, because he's very handy, all of that. And I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff is.
Right.
So being willing to learn.
Yeah.
As well.
Let me see that.
So, is it on?
No,
okay.
I want to make sure. I'm thinking, did I check to see if those are on? Man, this is gonna suck.
Can you hear me now?
She's rolling. She's doing great. It's better be on, man.
And I think to that point, it's really good. Like we say, stay in each other's lane also.
Yes.
Like know what your chores are. But, you know, I do also love to cook. And Rob, you know, he likes that. But sometimes he'll come in and he'll, you know, try to stir something and, stay in your lane. And that's really important because it is such a confined space and it can get a little bit.
That is a key, I think.
Man, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We just heard a tip recently. I can't remember what couple we were listening to, and they were talking about let whoever's in that space, let them own that space.
Yeah, that was moving forward.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
They were like, let them own that space, meaning like, okay, if you're in the kitchen area, because y'all know everything's all in one area, but if you're in the kitchen zone, let that person be in the kitchen zone for that time period. Like, they own that space. Don't come in trying to reach something over your head and just all of that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good advice.
Yeah.
That opens up communication too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get in our own space and I can get this for myself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And sometimes just, babe, can you pass me something?
Right.
Can open up communication in a very tense situation, like the tire being flat.
Yeah.
You thinking about that as the man, I got to fix this or whatever, whoever the handy person is to fix this. I'm thinking about this is going to cost this. And you keeping this thing going on.
Yeah.
And so you in this thing, but just saying, babe, can you pass me this, allows for her not to be in that and relieves you of some of that tension.
Yeah.
And because now you know each one of y'all in the same corner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kind of caveat on the stay in your lane. Yeah, that's cool for the world.
Right.
But we got to be going in the same direction.
It is true.
We're in the same car.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't be snatching on the steering wheel
that's
from
right.
over here.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or whatever the case may be.
You got the directions on the cell phone.
Stuff.
Because I don't want to crash.
Yeah.
Send a message here to this person. Yeah.
You do that.
Yep.
We're in the same car.
Yep.
We're going in the same direction.
That's really good.
Sometimes when we're in a different lane, I want to go this way, and you want to go that way, and we being in such a small space and traveling together, we have to be in the same, you know.
Yeah, I like that because you have your different jobs. When we're traveling, like I'll be in charge of sending like the Boondock Welcome, maybe a message or even doing that, so he doesn't have to worry about direction. Oh, it is cold out here. So yeah, you have a job and then he has a job, and I think that's really important. That's how it's effective and it makes it work.
Well, it is cold, so we'll wrap it up. I want to ask you guys what your plans are for the next few months, and maybe each of your favorite spots that you've been to, and then where you hope to go in the coming 6 months.
A favorite spot of mine. You talked about the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We went to Albuquerque and then we went to the Grand Canyon. In the Grand Canyon, it was just it made me feel huge and small at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it's nothing. Being there, pictures, whatever the case may be, being there was a whole different experience to see, like, wow.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How
I do.
huge it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be there because I'm a person that's, and I think this taps in another question. I'm a person, either mountains or water to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I lean toward those because they'll always be there.
Yeah.
A lot of things change in the world.
Yeah.
But the mountains will always be there.
And the water.
And the water will always be there.
That's right.
No matter what drought.
That's
or whatever
right.
case
No,
may
it's
be,
true.
It will always be there. So that keeps my faith in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get me to something like that.
Yeah.
And so that was even though it's a canyon,
Yeah.
Right.
it's mountainous in a part of it.
Oh, it
looks
is.
huge,
Right, yeah.
and then the water there
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it really puts some things in perspective for me.
Yeah,
as far
yeah.
as that.
How about you?
I would say one of my I've had a lot of favorite places. Like we talked about
Yeah.
the rocks up in
Hopewell.
Canada, Hopewell Rocks
Hopewell
in Maine. That was amazing. But I think one of my most memorable places was Sunset Cliffs out in California.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was miraculous.
Because one of the things that I love about this lifestyle is just being out in nature.
Yeah, right.
And it's the
Yeah.
scripture,
Right,
all of
right.
creation will declare his glory, and we see it everywhere we go.
Yeah.
But those Sunset Cliffs was the most stunning sunset, one of the most stunning sunsets I have ever seen. But it was amazing because it stopped everyone in their tracks.
Right.
Like everybody
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
and they
yeah.
pulled over on the
Yeah,
side of
to
the
see it,
road.
right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, I'm drawn in. And
you
it's
got
like, God is like, I
thousands
don't
of
care what
people.
all y'all got going on in your life.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to pause for a
Yeah.
minute and watch me work. And it was just
Yeah, I
like,
love
look at all these people just
Yeah.
stopped.
I love it when the Lord goes full on Bob Ross.
That's it.
Right? I just love that. We're gonna paint a little
That's it.
ditty today.
That's it.
Put a little bird here, a little
That's
bird
it.
friend.
And that's exactly how I
That's
felt.
exactly
Yeah.
what it was like.
That's what it's like for me. It's
Yeah.
like every night, every morning is a new Bob Ross painting.
That's it.
Created by the master of the universe.
That's it.
You know?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's
No, I
Absolutely.
appreciate what you're saying in that. Yeah,
That's really
I get
nice,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite spot?
I do agree with the Grand Canyon. Growing up, that was always on everybody's bucket list to go to the Grand Canyon. But until you actually go there, you can't imagine how
Yeah.
The
big
scope
it
of it.
is, and
Yeah.
the scope, and
Breathtaking.
and you're right. Pictures don't do it justice when you're there, because we actually were on the North Rim.
Yep.
We hiked up there, and beautiful.
Yeah, you like
But
that?
I do like that one.
You like that one?
Yeah. After we said that, I mean, there's been so many. I can't recall. I mean, I love Glacier. There's a lot of some
What
of the
about you?
lakes in Glacier.
Yeah.
What
Me?
about you, Rob?
Oh,
I wasn't ready. I was not going to
He was
answer
a- He
it.
was an interviewer.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask the questions.
Yeah.
yeah.
Brother, I love Death Valley in the spring. That's really something. I have to say that Valley of the Gods, where I met my friend Coyote,
Yeah.
that was epic. It's a mini Monument Valley. Somebody once said if Monument Valley had a nicer little brother, that would be it. And it was. I loved it there. It was serene. It was huge. It was really special. I liked it there. We're going back there, but there's just so many. The Beartooth Pass was also great. I love that. When I went up there with my daughter, Glacier with Joelle last year or 2 years ago in the fall. That was really special. But there's so much.
Yeah, there is.
You know, this has been an interesting stay. We were supposed to be here about 4 days ago, and we decided to stay where we stayed for 5 days instead, and that delayed us here by 4 days. Had we been on schedule, we wouldn't have met these two. And it has been such a divine connection, it's just not even funny. There are so many commonalities, and the parallels are almost weird,
Yes.
how much we have in common. And I feel like we've made friends for life here. And, you know, these guys are trying to getting started on a YouTube channel, and I'll tell you, I have told them the way they interact and their personalities are such that if they did that, I just know that it would explode. So be looking for stuff from them, because I'm going to keep pressuring them to get their cameras out. And they've been, Lynwood filmed our whole workout this morning.
Yeah, it
So
was
he
fun.
can do it.
Yeah, so
he's
you know
capable.
he's gonna do it. But I tell you, they're just such a blessing, and they are such an inspiration as a married couple, and with what they're doing, they have really blessed us. So I'm so grateful that you guys
Same here.
have decided to sit with us and talk with us. This is something that we talked about, that it might be nice to interview people so other folks can see what's going on out here from people that they might otherwise not fully understand what's going on out here. So I really appreciate it. Just thank you guys so much. Any final closing thoughts?
Well, y'all have definitely been a blessing to us as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for
And
kicking my
encouragement.
butt on that workout this morning. That was a blessing. But that was really fun, and it has just really, it's been a delight.
Hasn't it though?
To get to
yeah,
know y'all,
it
like,
really
yeah.
has. So we're looking forward to hooking up. We'll hook up again.
Yes.
We were asked to say, did we showed you the shirt? Dan, it was Dan, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Wing and a Prayer. Look them up online. They've got a great ministry. Recommend it highly. He gave us T-shirts and really cool bracelets that have a story behind them. We'll get into it a different time.
A nice spot to come if you're in Boondockers Welcome.
Yeah, if you're in Boondockers Welcome, they're in London, Kentucky. Look them up. Wing and a Prayer is what they call it on Boondockers Welcome. They are hospitable people, just great, and this was wonderful. Great sunset last night.
Peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful. Very quiet, very peaceful. Hey, so thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Guys.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. We'll see you in the next one. You take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.